Welcome to 3010 Reviews, the ultimate destination for indie and hobby game enthusiasts, the place where we play your game for 30 minutes and provide playtesting feedback for 10 minutes. At the end of the video, we'll assign a game readiness verdict. Take my money, almost there, and still brewing. Please understand that this is my opinion, and it is down to the developer to decide if they want to publish. This is their work and time, and ultimately, they can do as they please, and we should be respectful of that.
Hi everyone, I'm Bogdan, and today we're playing
Exterminator.
The description offered by the developer is as follows. Exterminator is a fast-paced third-person shooter with a lot of challenges, from hard bosses to defeat to puzzles and more, with a talent tree window to customize your robot abilities toward what equipment or playstyle you like in a mission-based game, each with unique challenges and rewards. Developed in 2 years by me as its sole developer, from code to graphics.
We're starting off with the Think Aloud gameplay.
Okay, we're in, and this is just a normal disclaimer for any sort of demos. I like it. It tells you that you don't have access to all the features and whatnot. Okay, the settings screen has a master volume, mouse sensitivity, resolution selection, frame rate, and window mode. Nice. Okay, this is quite a comprehensive skill tree. Too bad it's not available in demo, but I like what I'm seeing. Okay, so I believe that it says hold left mouse button, left click to move the skill tree, but actually it's right click. You might want to look into that. It's not a big change. Okay, we're gonna start with the tutorial. Oh, instructions straight away. I'm not too sure how to feel about this. The screen says to press the space button for the next page, but if you press space you also jump. Just use a different button for the next screen, maybe enter instead. Yeah, I'm not a big fan about the space button being the one that would close the instruction screen. You need to make it a different button. I like this. You can play around and see if there's any sort of combos, how weapons work. I like the skill as well. Rockets, this is my minigun. That's cool though, very cool, I like it. There's plenty of skills. I'm loving this. There's a lot of learning to do as well. Oh, I've got a stomp as well. Okay, so it seems that I'm out of energy. I notice. Okay, all sorts of skills require you to have energy to use them, irrelevant if they're weapons, or the shield, or the mine. Yeah, you have the standard health packs, energy packs, ammo packs as well. Oh my goodness, look at all this content that I don't have access to. Jealous. Oh, it looks amazing. Oh wow, okay. So your difficulties are harder than your average ones I've seen. Even from the second hardest difficulty, it says that you can only die a certain amount of times, and I wonder why. What would happen if you die for good? Do you just restart from a checkpoint, or do you fail the mission altogether? And while I was speaking, I've noticed that my sensitivity does not save between scenes, so you might want to look into that. And when I get into the settings, my screen resolution goes to 4K full screen. That's probably because of how you've done it. So basically it takes the details of the screen and resets that as the default. Try and make the sensitivity and the screen size persisting objects. I'm liking the aesthetics so far. I like the vibe of it. Lots of colors, fits in very well with the neon vibe aesthetic you're going for. Oh, that slam was satisfying. Oh, and I died. I have no idea what I've done wrong there. I know I was low on HP, but I was not expecting... Well, I didn't see any sort of damage coming at me. Yeah, the settings just reset themselves again. One moment, please. Let's try this again. I like the contrast that comes from lowering the lights of the room and the emanating lights from the enemy robots. It helps with aiming and it tells me how to position myself. And those homing missiles are so satisfying. Ah, that was a nice stomp. Loved it. The shotgun's pretty satisfying to shoot as well, especially in close range. Okay, so if I hold tab pressed, it brings up a quick selection menu. Nice. Oh, we've got pink lights. What's changing? Oh, that's what's changed. So I'm assuming... Oh, doesn't matter what I assumed. So it doesn't damage me, but it just teleports me back. Okay, fair enough. That's not too punishing. It seems to be a bit challenging. I'm not sure if I should use... well, that's not fair. It extends into the hallway. Probably shouldn't be like that. Nice, I made it through. And I take it it's gonna stop the... Yep. It stopped the pillar of teleporting lasers. Whoa, not gonna lie, that red laser sight made me jump a bit. Open the door and I'm already aimed at. Oh, that hovering mechanic is pretty neat. My gamer instincts is telling me that we're gonna have a boss fight here. I'll just avoid it if I can. Okay, so I think fighting the boss it is. Oh my god, what's that? Hide, hide, hide. I'm not sure. Are those blue waves? Am I supposed to jump over them? Will they affect me on top? Or do they affect me only if I'm down inside the arena? Okay, so this is a common issue with third-person shooters. If they use ray casting, sorry, the bullets, the damage, there's no actual projectile. Oh, well, I'll just finish my idea. I died. I should probably pay attention a bit more. Yeah, if they use ray casting, the damage goes wherever the aim is set as. So if you're hiding behind a pillar like I just did, you can cheese it for a second and deal damage to your targets while you're fully covered. But that's a recasting issue, and there's only one way to go about it, is to put a check between your robot and, well, your play character and the target. And if it checks for anything and finds, for example, a wall, it would stop at the wall. This is intense. I'm loving it. I am loving it. And the music fits well as well. I'm talking about music. All the weapon SFXs and the movements. Oh, well done me. Chucked my rockets in the pillar. Yeah, the sound overall comes together very nicely. I can't really tell which robot has what skills. Like, I can see which robots use the sniper rifle, assault rifle, shotgun, or pistol, but I can't tell which ones have rockets, homing rockets for example, or the tiny AoE damage when you get close to them. And I'm not sure how that would be easily displayed for the player. Also, I can't tell, because some games, for example, put bosses into defense mode, and it doesn't cover the entire body. And even if you're shooting parts which are not covered, you still don't damage them. I can tell if this boss has the same issue. It has defense mode on, it has those two screens in front of it, but I can't tell if I'm damaging it if I'm shooting around it. Okay, so I noticed that my homing missiles, well, hit the target, but I'm not sure if they were the cause for the shields disappearing, like the shields have an HP, or if it's on a timer. Oh, I destroyed the boss. Nice. But it's still red, so I'm assuming there's going to be more bosses coming in. At this point, I'm not sure if I should be attacking the cube and destroy it, but I'm not seeing any sort of HP. So I'm not sure if it's a staggered boss battle where I have to defeat several elite monsters. Okay, I've become a bit overwhelmed there. I've run out of pretty much all ammo. And I probably should have gone and collected some ammo packs instead of struggling in that corner. I don't know where to go. Yeah, I'll just admire my cool robot for a second. Nice. Oh, what's that? I've just used my skill tagged with the letter C, but there's no icon there, so I thought there was nothing there. Looked dope though. Reminds me of the Predator laser from Aliens vs Predator. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, cheesing the third person. Oh, I think my minigun is bugged. Oh no, 30 counter. Okay. These robots, they sneak up on you. Oh, where'd the boss go? Did I destroy him? Okay, so I take it this is survival gauntlet where I have to kill all the bosses required to progress. There's no reason for me to spend ammo on the cube. Well, that's not good. I think the boss fell through the texture. And now they're underneath the map. Man, the minigun is so cool. Why does it stop when I still have like 14, 15 bullets? Do I have to attack it now? I think I may be stuck. Oh, I can crouch. I don't think that's going to be a very used feature. Maybe for some traps in the future. Let me see if I can go after the boss. No, I don't think I can. I'll just reset the checkpoint. I have no idea what killed me, but that indicates the end of our gameplay segment. Oh what? I could have customized my robot! This is so cool! Not gonna lie, I'll be angry now. Oh, it's not available in demo. That's fine. I'm not angry anymore. This is cool though. Very nice feature. Oh, and I can change the color of the exhaust fires as well. This is dope. Oh, that looked so cool. And you're welcomed.
Now that the playtesting segment is over, it's time for us to provide some constructive feedback. The feedback will cover the following categories: accessibility, not only from the aspect of monetary resources, which directly reflects on the performance of the player's device, but also from the perspective of individuals which are differently able-bodied. UI UX, is it intuitive? Does it provide the player with the required information to play the game? MDA model, mechanics, dynamics, aesthetics. Community. We're looking for digital distribution platform, Steam, Epic Launcher, itch.io, community management platforms such as Discord and social media presence, X, YouTube, TikTok. And the last category is game-breaking bugs. You may have a gem of a game, but releasing it with a game-breaking bug may have devastating consequences on your day of release. Let's get into it. Moving on to the feedback, starting off with accessibility.
This game has a low entry point when it comes to device performance requirements, as presented by the dev on their Steam page. I realize that fast-paced games are a difficult game genre to accommodate people with accessibility needs, and more than likely the users will need to accommodate themselves. Not to take away from the aesthetics of the game, as it all fits within the creative direction desired by the product owner. But there are a lot of lights that can be used to direct player towards their tasks instead of having materials emanating lights just because that's how the prefab is done.
Now we'll cover UI and UX.
First of all, it's consistent throughout the game. You definitely need to add a field of view setting. As for me, the character occupies too much of the screen. Look at other games which have a third person over the shoulder perspective and break down the ratio of the player character to the screen. You may get some useful information from that. One of the better games, which is high octane just like yours, is Vanquish. Get inspired from that one. The altitude display. It doesn't need to be permanent. It can be disabled when not in hovering or climbing in altitude. Have it appear only when the player hovers or when it's used. I appreciate the effort put in creating a minimap, but I don't see the need for one as it stands. This is a fast-paced game and minimaps are more of a tactical requirement. The minimap doesn't inform the player of where the walls are, the actual layout of the map. So as it stands, it has no use. What has no use shouldn't be implemented because you're wasting time and resources in implementing it. If in the future it helps the player detect stealth opponents, sure. But even then, this is a high-paced gameplay and I don't think it fits the purpose too well. I know I told you to get inspired from Vanquish, but while playing Vanquish, I've never used the minimap either. There's just too much going on to take my eyes from the targets in front of me. The compass at the top of the screen has the same issues as the minimap. I don't see the purpose of it. The rocket launcher has a nice capacity to aim towards the highlighted enemies. Why does it aim even when they're out of your sight? Because it doesn't lock on and fire at the respective target. If I fire the rocket launcher, it will fire where I'm aiming at, and then it will adjust its trajectory towards the enemies. Yes, it has homing missiles, but it won't activate that feature. I don't believe players will notice such a detail, and maybe you've spent effort in a feature that players can do fine without. You have a nicely developed UI frame layover for the skills. Have you considered moving the icons on the character itself? Here's an example. It doesn't have to be a diegetic approach. It can literally just be cooldown icons slapped on top of the robot. And it doesn't have to cover the personalization of the robot either. You can even start with the number countdown and see how people react to it. I've noticed that you added robot status image layers. When you activate the shield power, your screen receives a blue tint and it is more prominent in the corners, the same when you are starting to get damaged. I like this feature a lot, but maybe it's too prominent. You could try and dial it down a bit. I also have to question the necessity of this layer, when both the health bar and the shield bar take a large portion of the play area on the screen. If you look at other shooters like Battlefield 1 for example, they have a bar with HP, but it only appears when you're getting damaged, and it is a small bar on the bottom right. They focus on the damage overlay, just like yourself. So try and prioritize one of them. There's a lot of things going on at the same time, a lot of information for the player to be on top of here. There's this thing called a working memory, and humans are limited in that aspect. The average person can keep track of 4 to 7 things at the same time, I believe. And that depends on factors on how urgent the processing of information is and how difficult it is to keep it in mind. Seeing that this game is a fast-paced monstrosity, which is a good thing, I think you can safely assume a player can keep track of 4 items at a time. Pause here to read more about Miller's Law. As a demo of a work in progress, it's understandable to have missing features. I didn't know I had the Predator laser until I pressed C out of curiosity. Talking about the Predator laser, really cool by the way, why does it have a special bar, the green one? Because it behaves like all of the other skills. When it comes to access doors, make them change color when fighting bosses. They should turn red for example. This is a basic standard. It lets the player know, hey, you're not on here, you can't go further until you finish this task over here.
It's time to move on to the MDA model.
Not much to discuss here, as this is one of the early iterations of the game, but as it stands, it is consistent and comes together as a nicely built puzzle. The elements communicate well with each other, the mechanics are smooth, and I didn't experience many issues with the player character. The dynamics have a steep learning curve, but once you get used to how the game runs, it quickly becomes second nature since the game itself adopts a common play experience adapted to the developer's creative direction. The aesthetics of the game are consistent and fit well within the creative direction throughout the experience. It fits well with the theme of a fast-paced shooter where the odds of being overwhelmed are present even on the lowest difficulty. One thing that needs working on is the exposure to different enemies. The player needs a chance to get accustomed to what threats those enemies represent. You can do this by giving the player the opportunity to battle the basic robots in the training facility. Create a mob spawner which the player activates and the enemy spawns. You don't have to do this with all the enemies, but you can adopt a discover approach. So once the player has encountered a new robot, they can spawn them in the training facility.
Now, let's cover your community outreach.
You have a Steam page, and you've used Reddit, and you made a post on Play My Game. What you don't have an Epic Store page, a Discord, a YouTube, TikTok, X, or itch.io. If you have any of these, please let me know and I will add them in the video description. Having said that, I can't stress enough how important it is nowadays to have an active and growing community. It is one of the most important factors in deciding the probability of success for your game. I realize that for a solo developer, being on top of all these things may prove daunting, as it is a tremendous effort, but this is the journey of a solo dev. I'm putting an emphasis on creating a community because I don't want you to pour your soul and effort into creating this passion project just for it to join the games on Steam which haven't seen over 100 downloads.
Bugs and game-breaking bugs.
Non-player entities can clip through walls. Even bosses do. This results in having the player be forced to restart from the last checkpoint. And when it comes to the description of the other difficulties that you had, this can be a major game-breaking bug. It's not clear how some skills function. The shoulder-mounted machine gun is controlled by holding the button down, and when you release it, it holsters back. Or at least that's how I think it works. However, it doesn't seem to work as intended. Sometimes it gets stuck and shoots indefinitely, and sometimes it holsters prematurely. It might be a bug, or I may have not gotten the hang of it.
Finally, it's time to give a verdict. And your verdict is
almost there. Congratulations!